Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red on this Wednesday morning and a glorious, fine, sunny Wednesday morning. It is. Perhaps we could do with some rain. Luke chapter 12, verse 6. Are 5 sparrows not sold for 2 copper coins, and yet not one of them has gone unnoticed in the sight of God? And Jesus writes this a bit like Solomon when he presents the Proverbs. He gives, as it were, examples of contrasting perspectives. So the expectation is that 5 sparrows, 2 bob, nothing, worth nothing. And so he's valuing them as just fodder, nothing. He says, and then he compares that to, they're worth 2 copper coins, and he compares that and he says, and yet not one of them goes unnoticed in the sight of God. So he says, even though their value in terms of they're just worth nothing, in the sight of God, they're worth everything because God notices them. And God noticing us is really important as we go through life. Being noticed by God, being acknowledged by God. You know, some of the times when my heart has been broken by the overwhelming sense of acceptance is when God has reaffirmed his love for me in some demonstrational way. And we need that in our lives. We need the experience of knowing, even especially when we feel very worthless, and yet God comes alongside and reassures us, takes us by the hand. He says, hush, be still. He says, it's going to be all right. That sense of reintroducing God's love into our lives, being noticed by God. And in one sense, it means that everything that appears to be not valuable in terms of worth, in God's eyes, he values. And he takes notice of the things that are not. And in fact, not only does he do that, but he uses the things that are not to bring to naught the things that are. Meaning all those braggadocious voices that are out there, all that pomp and ceremony that are out there, all that loud talking and pushing them people around out there, one day is going to be evaluated by God in a different way to they evaluate themselves. So the strutters in life, the big mouths in life, God is going to deal with them in accordance to his value system. But the nobodies in life, God is going to raise up. He says that if you want to be as it were, a representation of me, then you need to be humble, and you need to be the greatest servant if you want to be the best master. And it's only as we learn to serve in our positions of authority do we reflect the Almighty God. Bossing people around and knocking into people and making people do what you think is the right thing, even if it is in the sight of God, is not God's way. God always brings about his will through invitation. He says this, come to me, all you who are weary, burdened, and heavy laden, and I will give. He invites us. He embarks upon the sense of it's going to be okay. Doesn't force us, doesn't bash us into place. Brothers and sisters, what a great God we have in Jesus. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.